Namaste and welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua, and for today's practice you'll want to have 2 yoga blocks and a strap. And let's begin today in child's pose. We had a request for more grounding type of practice, though we're going to explore the inversion called shoulder stand today. Let's start in a grounding position. So coming into child's pose, bring the inner edges of your feet together. Knees can be together or apart. Arms can be extended forward or down by your sides, and let the head weigh down on something. So if your forehead doesn't easily rest on the ground, place something under your forehead like your block. And allow a moment here to mentally and physically arrive into your practice. I want to begin with an excerpt from Krishnamurti's book, Meditations, where he says, you can sit in the right posture with your back straight, breathing correctly, doing pranayama and all the rest of it for the next 10,000 years, and you will be nowhere near perceiving what truth is because you have not understood yourself at all, the way you think, the way you live. You can do all kinds of twists and turns with your body. All these powers are like candles in the sun. They are like candlelight when the brilliant sun is shining. To understand what meditation is, one must lay the foundation of righteous behavior. Without actually living a daily life free of the distortion of personal fear, anxiety, greed, and so on, meditation has very little meaning. A reminder that these are practices, and how we integrate them into our daily life is what makes them meaningful. So we'll start by opening the body, twists and turns and all that stuff, but really so that we can connect with ourselves within. So remember to see the bigger picture of what you're here for. Yes, we're nurturing the bodies. We're opening our minds so that in the self-knowledge that we experience, especially during meditation, we can transfer that into our relationship with the world. So now as you're still in child's pose, begin to feel the surface that is holding your body below. Sense your own physical weight, the weight of gravity pulling you towards the center of Mother Earth. Feel the weight of other parts of your body on top of other parts, such as your belly, on your thighs, your pelvis, on your heels. Through this feeling of weighing downward towards the center of the earth, feel your own grounding. Then begin to plant your hands alongside your knees on the ground, very slowly rolling up to lift your spine, your head. Find a comfortable way to sit. You might join your hands to meet at your heart as you take a moment to just observe how your body feels right now, how you feel energetically as you sense the natural breath. And how you feel mentally and emotionally. Lengthening the breath into your nose. Feel it move within your body. Then open the mouth and release any sound that wants to release. As you continue to deepen your breath, I invite you to choose something to offer gratitude for, anything you can naturally appreciate. So that from the lens of appreciation, you now can set your intention for this practice. Naming what you'd like to invite into your experience. And as a means of letting go of the ego mind, invite you to offer up this practice for someone that you choose to send loving kindness to. And together, let's join our voices to create resonant space, chanting Om 3 times. Inhale a little deeper. Let's begin practicing Ujjayi Pranayama, or victorious breathing, to help steady our mental focus and prepare the body to move as we bring balance to the nervous system. So closing the lips, softly narrow the back of your throat. Invite a gentle whispering sound as you lengthen the in-breath as slowly as the out-breath. See if you can maintain that steady, slow rhythm throughout much of this physical practice. And with that, I invite you to come down onto your back, take a block with you. And as you bend your knees, lying on your back, step your feet on the floor and place the skinniest width of the block right between your knees and thighs to hug firmly. So you're separating your feet as wide apart as your knees, and then bring the arms down by your sides and walk the feet back until you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips, but not quite. Grounding your feet and shoulders, tilt your chin back, and let's move in and out of bridge pose 3 times. The inhale to lift, the exhale to descend. The 4th time, we'll hold bridge pose. So as you ground down, inhale, lift your tailbone up towards the block. Find the top of the in-breath as you're lifting the chest. With your exhale, slowly lower your upper back, middle back, tailbone rest. Pressing down through your feet, inhale again, lift your tailbone towards the block, stretch the front of your thighs forward, and isometrically drag the heels back. Once you find the peak of the breath, exhale, imagine lowering 1 vertebra at a time. Once more, inhale, lift your hips, roll your inner thighs slightly towards the ground. Feel the breath rise to your collarbones. And then exhale, kissing the earth 1 vertebra at a time. Bring the arms in a little closer to your side ribs if they've slid away. And now let's prepare to lift for 5 or more deep breaths of your count. So when you're ready, lifting the tailbone towards the block. Slide your upper arms closer together underneath your back ribs. As you keep your arms straight, if your hands meet, you might interlace your fingers. Feel the fullness of your inhalation as this posture promotes. And listen to the exhalation, balancing it out. Pressing downward through the outsides of your upper arms as you actively stretch the tailbone forward towards the space between your knees. This posture in Sanskrit is called Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. And then when you're ready, exhaling, slowly lower. When the pelvis meets the ground, set the block aside and windshield wiper your shin side to side, slowly to your breath. Inhale the knees in one direction, exhale to the other direction. Then draw your bent knees together into your chest and start to rock and roll forward and back a few times. Build some momentum so that you can eventually arrive on all fours, tabletop. You might like to have the blocks near the front of your mat here. Let's begin some cat-cows to the breath. Inhaling, glide your chest forward and coil it up. Exhaling, contract your belly and round your back. Keep going another 4 cycles of Betalasana, cat-cow pose. At the end of your next exhalation, tuck your toes and lift your hips high and back into downward facing dog. Spend a few breaths there, maybe pedaling out your feet or any kind of movement your body needs to loosen up. Root down through flat, widely spread fingers, so your index fingers are pointing straight ahead. Open up space across your shoulders by wrapping your triceps towards the floor and completely relaxing your neck. Lift the shoulders up and back away from it. Let's find some stillness here for 3 breaths. Steady your gaze on one spot. Though the body is externally still, keep drawing the hips further up and back. Hug in the front ribs. Root downward towards your heels or through your heels. When you've emptied the next breath, walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Press down with your fingertips. Inhale, half forward fold, lift the chest. Exhale, forward fold. Press to your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms forward and overhead, rising up to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands to meet at your hearts. Saluting the sun. So this is a movement of gratitude, moving meditation to the breath. Surya Namaskar C. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead and back. Exhale, hinge forward towards your legs. Plant your fingertips on the ground and inhale, step your left knee behind you. Kneeling lunge, look up. While holding your breath, step to plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees, chest, then chin. Inhale, slide forward on the ground, entering cobra pose. Exhale, lift your hips back, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot forward beside left thumb. Lower your right knee, gaze up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, rising. Exhale, hands to meet at your heart. Second side, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Plant your fingertips. Inhale, step your right knee back. Look up. Hold your breath as you step to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin in Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide forward into Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, lift your hips back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, step your right foot forward beside right thumb. Lower the left knee. Exhale, step your left foot forward and bow. Inhale, rise, sweeping your arms back. Exhale, connect to your heart center. Let's move into the next sun salutation, Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Press with your fingertips. Inhale, lengthen forward. Step back to plank and let's pause there for a few breaths. Stacking your shoulders over your wrists. You could lower the knees for additional support, or you can keep the legs straight and actively press the inner heels back. Lift the sides of your belly and spin your triceps towards the back wall as you look at the ground just in front of your thumbs. Keep a long spine and exhale, shift forward. Bend your elbows back so they graze your side ribs, entering Chaturanga Dandasana. Then either lower down to Cobra or flip the toes here into Upward Facing Dog. Exhale to Downward Facing Dog. This time, let your body be still for 3 slow breaths. When you've emptied the third, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to the heart. One more time, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. This time, continuous flow. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, lengthen forward. Step back to plank. And exhale as you glide forward and lower through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Exhale to Downward Facing Dog. This time, bring your feet together to touch. Then inhale, raise your right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend your right knee and turn out the thigh at your hip. Stay here and inhale, tack your left outer hip back. Then exhale, tap the right knee outside your right shoulder, entering plank. Let's warm up the core muscles a little more. Inhale, raise the right leg back to 3-legged dog. This time, exhale, cross the knee to tap your left outer shoulder in plank. Inhale, back to 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee towards your nose and lift the belly round the back. Softly as you can, step the foot forward between your hands and spin your left heel down. Align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. Then inhale to cartwheel the arms apart in Warrior Two. Right away, land your gaze on one point just past the right fingertips, or close your eyes. Sense the quality of the breath. Finding that even rhythm, bend your right knee directly on top of your right ankle and press the outer edge of your left foot firmly into the ground. Rotate your right outer hip beneath your body and firm the top of your left thigh bone back. Last few breaths in Virabhadrasana 2. Straighten your right leg for triangle. Sweep your hips towards your rear wall. Lengthen your torso towards your front wall. Then plant your right fingertips just to the right side of your right shin. Use a block if the floor feels too far away. Raise your left arm up and spin your chest slightly towards the sky, maybe gazing just past the left thumb if it feels okay on your neck. And then once again, listen to the breath. Trikonasana. Gaze down at the floor just in front of your right foot. Keep the breath steady. And let's prepare for half moon pose. Walk your right hand about 6 inches forward of your right pinky toe out to the right corner. Drag your left foot forward and flex it off the floor. Turning your chest again to face the left wall, just like triangle pose. Land your eyes on one point of focus. And either stay here for the next few breaths, Ardha Chandrasana, or bend the left knee towards your belly and catch hold of the top of your left foot with your left hand. As you kick the foot away towards the rear wall, pull the foot towards your glute and roll your left shoulder open, entering Ardha Chandra Chapasana, like a standing sideways bow. Wherever you are, tune into 3 more breaths. Draw your right hip crease back towards your rear wall. If you're in Chapasana, straighten your left leg first, and then softly as you can, step back to Warrior 2. Inhale, Peaceful Warrior, side bend towards your rear wall. Exhale your hands to the floor in plank. Optional to lower throat Vinyasa or take a few cat-cows. Then downward facing dog. Bring your feet together to touch. Inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, bend the knee and rotate the thigh open. Staying here, inhale, tack your right outer hip back. Then exhale, touch left knee outside, left shoulder entering plank. Inhale, back to 3-legged dog. Exhale, cross the knee to right shoulder, entering plank. Inhale, back to 3-legged. This time through center, bend the knee towards your nose, round your back, and softly land the foot right between your hands. Spin the right heel down. Align front heel to arch of back foot. Then inhale as you cartwheel your arms into Warrior 2. So steady your gaze. Feel the balance in your breath. Bend your left knee right on top of your left ankle as you press the outside edge of your right foot into the earth. Rotate your left outer hip beneath you as you firm the top of your right thigh bone back. Virabhadrasana 2. Let's prepare for triangle. Straighten the left leg. Glide your hips towards your rear wall and reach your torso towards your front wall before placing the left hand down just to the left side of your left shin. As you raise your right arm up, spin your chest, maybe gazing up towards your right thumb. About 4 more breaths here in Trikonasana. So know that this is a blueprint for Ardha Chandrasana, which we'll come into next. So establish that feeling of groundedness through both feet and expansiveness through your arms and torso. And take those same qualities with you into Half Moon. Gaze at the ground ahead of your left foot. Steady the breath and shift forward, walking the left hand forward and to the left of your left foot. Flex the right foot as it leaves the ground. Turn your chest to face your right wall. And then find that feeling of grounding through both feet, even the lifted foot, by flexing it, engaging the muscles in it. Now, if you entered Ardha Chandra Chapasana on the first side, you might do it here, bending the right knee towards your belly, catching the top of the foot and kicking it away as you pull it, while rolling your right shoulder back. Last couple of breaths. If your right knee is bent, straighten your right leg, and then softly as you can, land Warrior 2. From Warrior 2, inhale, Peaceful Warrior, side bend towards the back of your room. Exhale down into a Vinyasa if you choose, otherwise straight to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, empty the breath and look forward. Then walk or jump lightly to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, reaching the arms overhead, drop your shoulders back. Exhale, Padasana, hands at the heart. Let's move into Sun Salutation B, moving in a continuous flow with the breath. So bring the inner edges of your feet to touch, preparing for chair pose. Then inhale into chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen, forward. Step to plank or lightly jump into Chaturanga. Take it through your Vinyasa. When you arrive at downward dog, keep your hips leveled as you raise the right leg back on an inhale. Exhale, gently land the foot beside your right thumb. Spin your left heel down. Then inhale, rise all the way up to Warrior One. Exhale all the way down through Chaturanga and finish your Vinyasa. From downward dog, inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale the foot lightly beside your left thumb and spin your right heel down. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale all the way down, Vinyasa. Downward facing, 3 deep breaths. When you've emptied the third, walk or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees again. Inhale to chair pose. Let's add a twist. Join your hands at your heart. As you exhale, begin to turn your rib cage to face your right wall while keeping the hips balanced. Inhale, sink the hips. Lengthen your spine forward. Keep each knee equidistant to the front edge of your mat as you continue to twist at your waistline for about 3 more breaths. Harita Utkatasana, twisting chair pose. Sink your hips back a little lower. Inhale your arms up in chair or Utkatasana. Exhale, rise up to mountain pose. Let a full breath in. And maybe sigh it out through the mouth. Seal the lips again. Bend your knees together. Inhale back to chair pose. Join your hands at your heart. And exhale, begin twisting to your left side, breath by breath. Draw the shoulders down the back. And broaden your chest. Let your sternum meet your thumbs. Last breath here. Sit a little lower. Inhale, chair, Utkatasana. This time, exhale, forward fold. Separate your feet hips distance apart. And lifting your toes, slip your palms face up underneath the soles of your feet in Padahastasana, stretching the outer wrists. Feel free to bend your knees if you need so that you can get the toes to meet the inner creases of your wrists. Then as you inhale, shift your weight forward and lift your chest through your upper arms. Draw the shoulders back. Keep lengthening your spine like this as you exhale to hinge towards the legs, dropping your head freely. Lift the shoulders away from it. Maybe shake and nod the head. And tune into a few cycles of breath. Then slip the hands out from underneath. Place your 2 blocks to frame your feet. Bring your hands to your hips, point your elbows to the sky. Inhale, lead with your chest to rise. Now let's step the left foot back 2/3 as far as you did in Warrior One. So both heels are on the ground, both legs are straight, and both hip bones are facing forward. Let's prepare for pyramid pose. Bring the arms behind your back, bringing the shoulders in extension, which is an ingredient of shoulder stand. Either press fist to fist against each other or hold opposite forearms or elbows, or place the hands in reverse prayer with the fingertips pointing up, sliding them up between the shoulder blades. Spread your toes, engage the muscles in your legs and belly, and inhale, draw your shoulders back, look up. Keep your throat open and exhale, begin to fold forward from the hips. Each in-breath, pause where you are and re-engage the legs, stretch the spine further forward. Keep your hips leveled and exhale, continue to fold. Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. Keep firming in the belly. Inhale, lift your spine parallel to the ground. Lower your fingertips on your blocks. You might adjust the height of the blocks here as you step them a foot in front of your right foot. Gaze ahead of the blocks, bend the right knee slightly, and shift all your weight into your right foot, lifting the left leg from the inseam parallel to the floor. Warrior Three. Keep lifting the sides of your belly, stretch the top of your head towards your front wall, and press the instep of your left foot towards your rear wall as you balance the height of both hips. Optional to lift your hands off the blocks. Maybe join your hands in prayer at the heart, or extend them back beside you, or open them apart. Maybe reach them overhead. Last 3 breaths here in Virabhadrasana 3. Lower your hands. Keep lifting the left leg as you inhale, lift your chest. Standing splits. Begin to bow towards your right shin, keeping your hips leveled in height. Now you might play with walking the hands back closer to your right foot. You might challenge your balance with holding your right calf with one or both arms. Let the neck relax. A few more breaths. Then step the left foot to meet the right, top of your mat, forward fold. Place the blocks to frame your heels and bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, slowly rise up. Let's step the right foot back 2/3 as far as you did in Warrior One. Ground both heels, straighten both legs, square the hips forward. And then again, reach the arms behind you, fist to fist. Hold the other elbow or forearm on top, or reverse prayer. Energize your legs, engage your belly, and inhale, roll your shoulders back. Exhale, begin to hinge forward from your hips. Lengthen and ground on an inhale. Fold on the exhale. Inhale, lift your spine parallel to the floor and lower your hands on your blocks. Adjust the height of the blocks. Bend the left knee slightly and place the blocks a foot in front of your left foot. Gaze ahead of the blocks and shift into Warrior Three, flexing the right foot as you lift the leg from the inseam. Lengthen your torso forward. Turn the right outer hip to face the ground as you tack your left outer hip back. Maybe lift your hands from the blocks. Play with any variation of your arms. How's the breath here? Last 3 breaths. Lower your hands. Keep lifting your right leg. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, bow towards your left shin in standing splits. No matter how high you lift the right leg, try to keep your hips squared or balanced in height. Maybe play with walking the hands closer to your left foot or wrapping an arm or two around the calf. Then gently step your right foot beside the left, forward fold. Have your feet hips distance apart, parallel to each other, and bend your knees. Reach the hands behind you to clasp. Inhale, lift your chest forward. Tilt your weight forward, and then exhale, bow towards your right leg as you straighten it, bending the opposite knee. Stretching the arms away from your lower back, relax your neck and jaw. Maybe switch the interlacing of your thumb and index fingers on top. Bend the right knee, straighten the left leg, and lean to the outside of it. Come back to center. Step back to plank pose. Then slowly lower through chaturanga, all the way to the ground. Let's add in our last active back bends before we approach our target posture today, which is shoulder stand. Slide your knees close together. Let's prepare for bound locust pose. Rest your forehead on the floor. Reach the hands behind you to clasp or hold a strap between. Spread your toes and press the tops of your feet on the ground. Then inhale, coil your chest off the ground, stretching the knuckles of your hands towards your heels. Stay here for 5 or more breaths and then let go to rest. If your lower back feels fine with it, lift your feet off the ground too and parallel them to each other. Think of stretching your tailbone towards the space between your heels. Lengthen the back of your neck as you slide the shoulder blades down your back. Baddha Shalabhasana, bound locust pose. Once you've let it go, let your body rest for 3 breaths. Let's prepare for bow or Dhanurasana. Slide your knees close together. This time bend them and reach back with your hands to catch hold of your inner or outer feet. Press your pubic bone into the floor. Kick your feet into your hands as you pull your feet towards you, lifting your knees no wider apart than hips distance. Coil your chest up and stay for at least 5 deep breaths. Once again, when you've let it go, rest for 3 breaths. Please press up. To sit, bring the feet in front of you. Let's come back to bridge pose for 1 round. With or without a block between your knees and thighs, you decide. Parallel the feet about hips width apart. And when you're ready, lift up and hold for at least 5 deep breaths. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. And since we did this posture in the very beginning, notice if it feels different now towards the end. Once you've lowered your pelvis, Drop your knees together to touch. And pause for 3 breaths. So you might observe that back bends like bridge, bow, and bound locust are heating and energizing. Shoulder stand, in opposite to that, is relaxing, cooling, and grounding, activating the parasympathetic nervous system. So before we go to the exact opposite, let's neutralize the spine in a twist. Bend your right knee into your chest, slide your left leg forward. Open your right arm out to the right and scoot your pelvis another 3 inches towards the right edge of your mat. As you ground your right shoulder, you might gaze past it while twisting to your left side for about 5 breaths. Then rolling onto your back, slide your right leg forward and bend your left knee into your chest. Slide your pelvis closer to the left edge of your mat. Open your left arm wide, grounding the shoulder, maybe gaze past it, and begin twisting to your right. Come back to center. Bend your knees apart into happy baby pose, or straddle the legs straight apart. Either way, ground your pelvis and shoulders. So, moving towards shoulder stand, let's begin in supported shoulder stand. Take a block and set your feet on the ground, knees bent. Lifting your hips, slide the block by the lowest height wide across the flat part of your lower back, underneath your sacrum. Then from here, lift your legs up and you're in supported shoulder stand. Now, if you have any neck issues, use this as your shoulder stand. Otherwise, stay for 3 more breaths before you lower your feet. Notice if your breath is still whispering that ujjayi. Set your feet down if you're free of neck issues and want to enter shoulder stand. Similar to bridge pose, bring the elbows in really close to your side ribs, but bend your elbows and press them down. Press the backs of the shoulders down. Then bring your hands towards your glutes as you begin to lift your knees towards your chest so that you can lift the pelvis off the floor to stack right on top of the shoulders. Keep your head still, tilting the chin back, not moving your head side to side. You might walk the elbows inward a little closer to the midline of the mat. Try to get your ankles, hips, and shoulders to stack in one vertical line. How's the breath? Now, if it's available, you can bring the legs overhead into plow pose, maybe touching the ground with your toes. You can keep your hands on your lower back, or you can interlace the fingers and walk the upper arms even closer together as you would in bridge pose. So plow pose, halasana, or shoulder stand, salamba sharvangasana. 5 more breaths. So you want to be careful not to flatten the back of your neck on the ground. You want to keep tilting the chin back, maintaining the natural curve and length of your neck. To come out of shoulder stand or plow, place your hands on the lower back, root down to your elbows. Bend your knees towards your chest and begin to lower slowly upper back, middle back, then pelvis. Now let's prepare for fish pose. Slide your legs straight forward, bring your feet together and relax them. Slip your palms face down under your glutes so that your thumbs meet to touch. Press down with your palms, forearms and elbows, and tilt your chin back as far as you comfortably can. You might lift the shoulders off the floor and bring the top of your head to the ground. Now stay here for 5 slow breaths, or take about 30 rounds of breath of fire, where you close the lips and take percussive exhales through the nose, bouncing the belly in towards the spine. Then inhale through the nose, hold the breath in, lift your pelvic floor, draw the navel in and up, close the back of the throat. And when you can't hold the breath in anymore, exhale and relax your body to the floor. Release the arms from underneath. Maybe draw your bent knees together into your chest. Take another breath in, fill up. Exhale through the mouth and splay your legs apart on the floor. Now entering Shavasana. Turn the palms up by your sides. Rest the shoulders down away from your neck and close your eyes. Sense the difference of letting go of the breath from when you were controlling it. We'll be here for about 5 minutes before entering 5 minutes of meditation. Rest where you are a little longer. And as you keep your eyes closed, feel into your physical body. Notice how your practice has affected it. Begin slowly and gently to move small parts of your body, like wiggling your fingers, your toes. Ease into stretching your arms, and then bending your knees. Slowly turn over onto your right side, resting your head. Bring awareness to the breath, just as it is. And notice how you feel now energetically. Is there a difference from when you started this practice? Then take your time lifting your body up. Find a comfortable way to sit where you can feel grounded, alert, relaxed, and open for 5 minutes of meditation. You might place your hands in a mudra like stacking the palms face up on your lap, thumb tips touching. Close your eyes or steady a soft gaze ahead. And let's begin resting your attention inward. And observing where your attention goes. When thoughts arise, emotions arise, or even sounds in your background arise. Notice how you relate to all of that. Let this be a practice of studying yourself, studying your reactions, studying your inner narratives with non-judgment. If you get caught up in the thoughts or whatever your attention goes, remember you can always come back to that place of neutral witness. Now sense the energy of your mind. Is it different from when you started this practice? Feel the energy of your heart. And maybe join the hands to meet there, offering gratitude for anything that you choose. Come back to your intention you set for this practice. And remember to whom you dedicated this practice. In closing, let's join our voices in 3 ohms. Inhale. Acknowledging the light within. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice.